Just going to place this composition down to the bottom and trying to keep it on the page so this point sets up. And what this is this drills a much larger hole, but the center line for the hole is set it with that point, and that allows the drill bit to start in and section out, and as it gets to this point here, starts to elevate the section, wide diameter of the hole that it's going to drill. So here I'm just putting in a center line, kind of 30 degrees, like I said, if I'm going to try using the template, and just kind of keeping it approximately 30 degrees, as long as all these lines are parallel, just kind of sketching that point in there, and then finding this center line. So it's just kind of looking for that angle. If I can locate the center, that's the general location that it's going to be positioned at. So these different pieces have a thickness to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and give it a slight edge, just so at least you can see it right on that piece right there. So that's that point. As it comes back, it curves, and as it does this, it's going to lose a little bit of the edge. It's going to get a little narrower right along that side. So if I actually use a template, I don't necessarily need it because it's all tapered to a flange of a flatter piece, but it does have this arrow. So if I try to make it symmetrical from this corner point, setting that section up, so it makes it a little bit easier to illustrate. There's the angle, and then just dropping it down that distance to find that particular corner, giving that section. And then here it is, just drawing it in freehand at first, and then using the straight edge just to help me illustrate that and shade some of that in. So as far as the front part of this bit, this drill bit, is going to be easy to section off. And then again, just kind of using some of the lines to help me straighten that piece off. When it comes around, it's going to be a curved corner, just like as you would in Illustrator, dropping that up there. As it gets to this top piece, this is where it would be the cylindrical section, and as the center piece goes back, here's the center line. I'll redraw it a little bit just to show it. And if you did use a template or an elliptical shape, this is the part that it's going to rotate around, so it's building this particular selection. So trying to find out a distance, and it's not perfect circle at the end, it has a shape to it, so I'll just kind of put one in there just to show it and taper this section down just to take it as an edge. And as it gets to that distance, you can see that it actually has edges to it. So once it gets back there, it's just going to taper one more time. So once it gets to this ellipse, it just kind of straightens off going across the top. Curves in here, and this is the part that actually fits in the drill for the drill bit to hang on to. And this one coming in here. So this one you're just going to see the top of it. You're not going to see the underside of this. And setting that in there like that. So as far as outlining, it's pretty well placed together. The only part that has an elevated definition is just making this metallic edge right here. Places it into that side for that bit. And then if you think of this, each of these representing planes that have, again, a gradient line to build up. And just kind of tapering it across. And as far as the central part, at least the circle, I could drop one of these right in the middle. It's going to line up in the center. So I can just place it right there. And just to show you, I'm going to put a circle and then just drop this down a little bit to show a divot that shows the depth of that. So that's kind of giving it a center line of that piece. And then it has the section for the type. So I'm just going to illustrate a baseline and a height line for both the 3 and the 4 for 3/4. Try to illustrate the letter and the numerical part, just a slash and numbers, all the same idea. at an angle. So if you think of it like a number 8 and just clip off those pieces, that's what's setting it apart. And try to shadow the type. So you can give it a soft value for the thickness and just crispen up one side of it for the shadow. And there you have it. So it's all pretty well delineated. So now just go and shade the selection. It's going to come up. And this is where you can think of it almost like a gradient fill. Work the edges of it. There's a texture of the metal coming across the top. That you can indicate. And again, just using the straight edge to help shading is a nice option there. Here again, trying to see this base tone of the metal. It's kind of a cylindrical shape that tapers down. And it gets to the back. So it's a relatively easy shape, just kind of gets complex as you start to illustrate it. Section there. Again, just seeing if you can get a nice edge to this. So when you really take a look how crisp these edges are, see that piece. See if you can illustrate that.